Get in, fellas. It's 7 a.m. We're gonna go ahead and go fly down the Douro River to Porto. I'll be your tour guide this time. First, we're gonna try to get this thing off the ground. I'm sure the runway's long enough. Oh god, the runway's not long enough. Now, some of you eagle eyes might have spotted that we kind of started on the Spanish side of Portugal. You know, you can tell the difference because they speak Spanish, not Portuguese. But that's important because our first stop is going to be the Aldeia da Vila Dam. It's one of them big concrete arch dams. It's right on the border between Spain and Portugal. Almost 500 feet tall. Gives me altitude sickness just looking at it. And that's where we're going to go ahead and start following the river. There it is. Alright. So from here on out, we're going to start following the river. And our goal is to start following the Douro River all the way to Porto. Now, the Douro River is the largest river in the Iberian Peninsula just by flow rate. It is not the longest. It is only the third longest. on the Iberian Peninsula. For those that don't know, the Iberian Peninsula is just Spain and Portugal. The river itself, it's kind of interesting, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in large part, it forms along the border between Spain and Portugal before it heads westward, cutting right through the country, all the way to the Atlantic. You didn't think this giant plane would fly so easily over the river. Well, I can assure you it doesn't. It's a lot of fighting it. Interesting little tidbit about this river too. Once you're on the Douro, like I said, it goes all the way to the Atlantic, and look at that. There's another little dam. I'll be damned. Ah, there we go. Now we're following the river westward. Now, at the mouth of the river out by the Atlantic, they found some archaeological evidence dating back to, I think it's the 8th century BC, of a Phoenician trading post. So that's pretty cool. And the river itself, you can see all the vineyards down there. It flows right through Portugal's wine region. It's where port wine comes from. It is by far my favorite kind of wine. And for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, the barrels of port wine were moved along the river. And that was done in little boats called... I'm mispronouncing a lot of things, and that's okay. You're just going to have to bear with me. I'm flying a plane here, okay? They were called little Rebello boats. Just tiny little boats, really. And you'll still see those littered all over the place, around the towns and cities. It makes for a fun little tourist attraction. Hopefully I'm not giving any of you motion sickness. From here on out, I'll let you guys enjoy the sights in silence until we make it all the way to Porto. Shouldn't be very long. We're going to take a quick and dirty shortcut here. Pick up the river again shortly. Millions of years of the river carving itself down and down into the valley. And then you get all of these beautiful vineyards here. If you ever needed an excuse to go on vacation, go to Portugal. We're going to cross these mountains and we'll meet the river again shortly. You can see the river to our bottom right there as it carves its way inch by inch all the way to the Atlantic. think at this point we're about 8 to 10 minutes out from the city, especially if we keep following the river like this. Gives you some time to enjoy the sunrise. What you'll see up ahead is many of the modern day bridges across Portugal. They've built a lot of these towering bridges across the valleys. Kind of makes sense, right? You gotta be able to cross the river somewhere. A lot of them standing several hundred feet tall. It's not uncommon to see them. And it will also be the first thing we see as we get to the city itself. You'll see another one of these towering bridges right there crossing the valley. We'll start setting our course a little bit away from the river in our approach towards the city itself. So we are not very far out anymore. Say what you want, but for all its bugs, Flight Sim 24 is really beautiful. And you might have noticed that there's more and more little towns, houses. It's because we are getting closer to the city. Starting to feel like civilization around here. Way off in the distance across those last ridges there was the Atlantic Ocean. And way off to our front right should be the city of Porto. I know I like to point out the bridges. I swear I don't have a thing for bridges. But it's kind of cool though. We're gonna make a sharp turn because we're getting close to the city. Let me turn the engine down a little bit. Wouldn't want you to miss the sights and sounds. What you see in front of you is really the downtown area, from there stretching to the Atlantic. And if you follow the river here, you can already see the first one in the distance. I'll slow down the sim rate a little bit so you can actually see. There's like 3 bridges there. The Ponte do Freio. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's a large modern day bridge. It basically connects Vila Nova de Gaia on the south side of the bank to Porto itself on the north bank. Right behind it will be the Maria Pia Bridge. It's a railway bridge that was completed in 1877. It was designed by this guy named Gustav Eiffel. You might remember him from, the Eiffel Tower. Right after that is the Louis I Bridge. It's an interesting kind of bridge. It looks kind of weird. I'm hoping it'll look good here. But it has traffic at the bottom, just cars, and on the top side of it, you'll have the a metro that crosses from north to south. So this first one here, that would be the Ponte de Freio. It says Ponte means bridge. I guess the next one could be Ponte Maria Pia. That's a lot. This one is a much more modern day bridge. I believe it was completed in the 80s. So this one coming up over here. That one, the trestle bridge, that should be the Maria Pia. I guess you can recognize Gustav Eiffel's work in that, huh? And then let's pull up and not crash into that bridge if we could. That one is the one where at the bottom you can see the traffic lane, and at the top is the metro line. Okay, that's pretty cool. But not to harp on the bridge is too long or anything. Because if you look to the... Oh my goodness gracious, an actual ship in the middle of the sky. You don't see that every day, do you? It's also somewhat hilarious that that causes a crash. It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to park my giant tanker in the middle of the sky. Either way, let's continue on. What you see over there in the city, which is, I mean, pretty much the old part of the city, is a lot of churches. There's the Porto Cathedral itself. It's a Romanesque cathedral. It has Gothic cloisters around it. It's pretty cool. There's the Church of St. Ildefonso, which is an 18th century church that is covered in the blue and white tiles that you see everywhere around Portugal. Those tiles are called azulejos. I'm probably mispronouncing it. That's okay. Again, I'm still the one flying a plane. They're basically painted tin glazed ceramic tiles. You would recognize them. They look kind of like Chinese or Dutch Delftware. They are blue and white. They came in all sorts of colors, don't get me wrong, but the blue and white colors were really popular. Now, they're not just decorative, they actually do have a purpose. Let's speed up the sim rate so we can make it over the city. They do actually have a purpose. They also help with temperature control, which, as old as the city is, there were a lot of centuries where they did not have air conditioning. So, for that part, it's kind of useful. Let's see. There. You have one of these beautiful churches right below us. It's pretty cool. That one over there, on the right-hand side, the big one, if memory serves correctly, that should be the cathedral itself, the one with the big tower back there. Now, for anyone that's interested in the azulejos, you should look it up sometime. They're very pretty. Those things have been around for a long time, but they originally came from Seville, Spain. In the 13th century, after, I think it came from Moorish culture, the tiling was done with different colors. They made mosaics with them that were specifically, geometric shapes. Over time, that made its way, into Portugal and kind of across Europe. But it didn't really pop off until like the 16th century. Art evolved from just shapes to having like full-blown decorations. You get actual pictures of people, animals, religious stuff, cultural things, historical events, that kind of stuff, or mythology even, I'd say. And a lot of artists at the time came to Portugal because of its freedom of expression, so they started adding new techniques. And that included painting directly on the tile, so you would get, these really detailed pictures on there, which is really cool. But the blue and white itself came because, like I said at the start, the Dutch Delftware and Chinese porcelain came in blue and white, and it became really popular across Europe and in Portugal as well. And so they started adopting that style, but people were importing, the porcelain and the Delftware by the bucket loads, to a point where locally they temporarily banned the import of those tiles just to give their own artisans a chance to make a buck. So it's pretty interesting, I think. But either way, that's the city. Highly recommend you go visit. I think it's time for us to start heading to the airport, make our approach, do a somewhat illegal landing. So I'd say buckle up. We're heading that way.
Porto Tower. QNH 1018, fly left downwind, runway 17. Make left traffic runway 17, dips 1-1, ITMs for in Victor Foxtrot, Echo 46 heavy.
I'm fairly sure that approach means flying around the airport. Yes, it does, because that's runway 35. So, I'm going to go ahead and pull it around. We're going to do an external cam landing, so I can't really see my instruments. That just adds to the excitement. That's all I got to say about that.
Dips 1-1, ITS her in Victor Foxtrot Echo 46 heavy, wind calm, clear to land runway 17. Dips 1-1, IT in Victor Foxtrot Echo 46 heavy, acknowledge last transmission. Clear to land runway 17. Dips 1-1, IT in Victor Foxtrot Echo 46 heavy.
I know you think this landing is going to go terribly wrong, but I'm just here to assure you it's going to be fine. There is zero reason to panic. We will not be panicking today. A little Tokyo drifting never hurt anybody. I'm just telling you.
Dips 1-1, IT in Victor Foxtrot Echo 46 heavy, turn next taxiway.
See? I told you we'd be fine. Will Tokyo drift off the landing strip here?
Dips 1-1, IT in Victor Foxtrot Echo 46 heavy, turn next taxiway.
This is a good enough parking spot.
Dips 1-1, IT in Victor Foxtrot Echo 46 heavy, contact ground on 121.04.
Look at that, we made it. Well, that was a pretty fun little flight. So, I hope you guys actually learned something along the way and enjoyed the flight itself. But, maybe go visit Portugal sometime. Thanks for flying with me. I'll see you guys later.